All right, greetings everybody, and welcome to week number 6. That is right, week number 6 of your 7314 class, which is your reference class. As always, I'm your professor, Dr. JSK Alston, and what we are going to do this week is first a quick state of the course update, and after we do that state of the course update, we are going to learn about another database, and that database will be the Legal Forms database that is brought to us by Gale. This will be a public library database that we do not have access to here at Mizzou. So if you want to practice with this database, get in touch with your local public library and see if they have it, and if so, how you can access it, and from there, access it and get to work. But before we get into that, again, the state of the course update is what we are focused on right now. So first of all, the first thing to mention is that I want to applaud you all and thank you all for doing such a great job with the Marianne Curtis appearance that was this past Wednesday night during week 5. We didn't have a check-in video during week 5 because of the async session, but I wanted to let you all know that yes, you all did great. You asked a lot of questions. You were very engaged, and I was very, very pleased with how you all responded to Mary Ann, how you all engaged with her, how it seemed like you wanted to learn and take advantage of this opportunity to talk to a professional, which is exactly why I bring these synced session guest speakers in. So thank you so much for the good work that you all did there. Keep that up. I'm hoping to see that again when we host Jamie Livingston in, well, either March or April. I can't remember now. But she will be our third and final sync session for this semester. So you all are doing great. You all are also doing great on the discussion boards. You're still doing good with those, so have no fear with those. I know I'm a little bit behind with grading those, but as I told you all, as I start to approach March, that's when things get really, really busy, and that's when things are going to get slower as far as the grading is concerned. Another note on this state of the course update that we are doing this week is that I want to let you all know that the semester-long project is available. I did send an announcement about that last week. Let me see if I can pull that up. So yes, there is an announcement about, oh yeah, and I've got to talk about that too, the Live apps. But yes, so your semester-long project is now available. We made it available the day after Valentine's Day, so February the 15th. And it is available either in the assignment prompt area, or it is also attached to this announcement. But you can, if you don't want to access it through this announcement, then also if you go to the assignment page, as I just said, you will see it there as well. So you will see semester long project, and then once you scroll down, you will see final source exam reference spring 2025. All right, so that is available. You can go ahead and get started on it. If you get started now, pacing yourself with 5 to 6 questions per week should get you done by the due date. So go ahead and do that. Another thing that I do need to mention again, and I mentioned this in a announcement as well, but it does not hurt to again bring it back up, is that the Live apps logins have been created. When I made that announcement, I believe on Friday or whenever I made it, I was actually in the process of creating them at that time. Yeah, that was on Friday, but now it is Sunday the 23rd. Actually, that may have been Thursday. Either way, whenever I made that announcement, I was in the process of making those, okay? But now they have all been made. So if you have not gotten your Live apps welcome email, then please contact me so that we can get that fixed, okay? And then I do want to mention very quickly a few other things here. The free virtual conference, not virtual reference conference, but the free virtual conference on Missouri open access and open educational resources. That is going to be on March 6th. And again, this is a free virtual conference, so it does not require you to go anywhere and have lodging and all of that stuff, or meals and all of that stuff. And it is something that you can register for wherever you are for free. And you just pop in. But I do recommend you taking advantage, even at the student level, taking advantage of free webinars and free conferences when they are available to you. They can still give you networking opportunities, and more importantly, they give you free learning opportunities basically free learning opportunities to learn more about the field. And another thing that I'm going to say about that is there are a lot of opportunities to learn things for free in this field, but there's so much to learn, and those opportunities are few and far between. You'll see a lot more opportunities to pay a certain amount of money. Even if it's a little bit like $25, you will see a lot of like paid webinars and that sort of thing. But if you actually go searching, you can search YouTube and some other things, and Google around, and you can find like archives of past webinars and past conferences and past trainings that you can access for free. They were, a lot of times you have to pay money to attend them live, but then you can access the free archive version for free somewhere, be it YouTube or somewhere else like that. But in this case, this is something that you can actually access the free version live to, and like you can access the information live for free. And so I do recommend that you all do that. Again, it is not too early to start learning as much as you can at the student level. And another thing that you should be aware of is that on your CV, you can actually have a section on your CV for professional development, and you can list little webinars and things that you've attended, things that you've watched in order to build up your skill set or increase your knowledge and that sort of thing. As you become more experienced in the field, you're probably going to be doing less of that, but early on, a lot of people actually do list the webinars and the conferences and the other professional developments that they attend because, again, they're just trying their best to separate themselves from everybody else. And so that is one way, again, to separate yourself from your competition when you are applying for jobs, okay? And then I do want to mention that your next major assignment outside of these, well, first of all, let me make sure. Let me scroll down here. And see. Okay, so you all have you have discussion board prompt number 5 that is going to be due on March 2nd, which is next weekend. I'm recording this on the weekend of I'm recording it on Sunday, February 23rd. Next weekend, you are going to have that 5th discussion board prompt that's going to be due on March 2nd, and then you're not going to have another discussion board prompt until April 6th. And then your final one will be on May 7th. So this coming week that we have coming up, this week 6 that I'm talking about, that's when you'll do discussion board prompt number 5. And then you're not going to have but 2 more discussion board prompts. And those are going to be, again, one due in April and one due in May. Okay, so be mindful of that as well. You will have the opportunity to turn your attention more so to the semester-long project once you no longer have to do the weekly discussion board prompts. Okay, so that's how that works. And then finally, your Wikipedia assignment. I'm going to, next week's check-in video will likely be on Wikipedia. And on the Wikipedia edit assignment, I'm probably going to give more context to that in next week's check-in video, but it's a little too early to make that check-in video right now because most of you are not going to start on that assignment until we get to March, okay, just to be honest with you. So now is a better time for me to show off the database, but I do want you to know that, yes, this assignment is going to be coming due on March the 16th, so you might want to get ready to start thinking about what you want to do. By the way, you will, I will allow you guys to do your I'll allow you all to do your Wikipedia edit assignment on pretty much any topic that you want. It doesn't have to be a serious or scholarly topic. It can be your high school, your hometown, a band that you like, a TV show that you like, anything like that, a video game that you like, anything. But what I want you to do, there's going to be a very small, minute number of things that will not pass the test of you making a Wikipedia edit assignment page about them. Or doing a Wikipedia edit about these particular things. It's going to be a very small number of things, and usually it's going to be the case that if I'm not allowing it, it's because it's probably something that might be subject to something that you're contributing to a page that Wikipedia might delete or something like that due to notability or something else, or notoriety or something else like that. Anyway, if you are, I say all that to say if you are unsure as to whether or not I'm going to accept your Wikipedia edit assignment topic. If you're unsure, just message me and let me know what you're thinking about, and I'll give you the thumbs up, the thumbs down, or let's work through this a little bit, okay? So that is pretty much it. Well, that is it for the state of the course updates, and now let me tell you about this Gale Legal Forms database. Let's get into it. All right, so let's take a look at the Gale Legal Forms database. So what we're going to do is we are going to go here, and like I said, this database is not available at your, at Mizzou. It's not available at the academic library. It might be, well, it's not available at our academic library. There may be some academic libraries out there that do subscribe to Gale Legal Forms, but Mizzou is not one of them. And typically it is public libraries where you find people accessing this particular database. So with that said, let's go ahead and we're going to go to the subject of legal here. I am going to show you how I'm getting into it at my public library. Yours will be different. However, I do want to kind of give you an idea of, again, accessing these things in different sites and knowing how to do so. All right, so if I go to research and learning through Mid-Continent Public Library and then go to legal, and then I come here for Gale Legal Forms, that is what's going to take me into this legal forms database. Okay. I'm going to pause during all this loading. All right, and here we go. So now this is what you're going to come into. Now this one is the Missouri specific one, and it's the only one that I have access right now to is the Missouri specific one. However, I believe that Gale does this for all 50 states. I know that they do it for all of the states that I previously lived in. So in addition to Missouri, I've also lived in Virginia, North Carolina, and South Carolina, and I know that all of those states are available. But again, I do believe that they have done this for all 50 states. So if you are outside of Missouri, and I know a lot of my students are also outside of Missouri, don't worry. Don't be like, oh, well, this is irrelevant to me because I don't live in Missouri. This is Missouri legal forms. No, there is North Carolina legal forms and South Carolina legal forms and all of the states, okay? So find out from your local public library how to access this for your particular state if you're outside of Missouri. And then also ask your public library, your local public library, how to access this even if you are in the state of Missouri, but you don't know how to get to it on your public library webpage because, again, there are many public libraries in Missouri, and so I am only showing you how to get to it through my public library. You need to figure out how to do it on yours, okay? But yes, once you get in here, you will see you will be brought here. And the thing about this database is that it can be very useful even for even just for the layperson who is not necessarily well, let me say this. This is a database that I have used just as much for my friends and family and for personal reasons as I've used professionally on the desk, okay? So like, especially when I was on Facebook, I was actually doing a lot of librarian-y things for my not for my students, for my friends and my family when I was on Facebook. Now I gave up Facebook because it started getting on my nerves, and quite frankly, I think I'm better for it, but that also means that I'm recommending these databases to my friends and family and people a lot less because I'm seeing their information needs a lot less, if that makes sense. But yes, this can be something that when you have friends and family who are like asking, well, where can I find legal forms, or I need a contract for this, or an example of a letter for that, you can tell them about this database and you can get very reliable information from this database. So when you scroll down, the first thing that I want you all to realize is that your most popular searches when you are doing library work, your most popular searches are actually going to be here on the left. When I was a public librarian, I did a lot with landlord-tenant. I did a lot with real estate, wills, and estates. I did a little bit with divorce and a little bit with marriage and those sorts of things, okay? So they come in handy for those, but then also over here, you will see that these are, oh, where did I go? Hold on. Okay, it actually made me look like I disappeared, so I paused it for a second to bring myself back. I don't know if I actually disappeared or not. I'll only see that on the video. But yeah, so you have your most popular searches on the left, but then on the right, you're going here, you can browse by main categories. And so you'll see all of the main categories that this database covers, and it covers a wide variety of them. And so you can either browse or you can also search, but I'm going to do the browse first and show you all some things through the browse. Now, also sample searches, you can look through these. I'm not going to go into the sample searches really all that in depth. By the way, I need to remind you all that, yes, when you are watching these check-in videos and I'm introducing you to a database, please know that this is not a tutorial, okay? If you want a tutorial and to actually master the database, then find yourself a tutorial. You can usually find them within the database or on YouTube or wherever, but you as a librarian, you need to learn how to go out and find and seek information anyway, so this would be one situation wherein you could do that. All right, so okay, so actually what I'm going to do, I'm actually going to go into a browse category and show you all, or main category, and show you all a browse here, browse by main categories. Actually, I think what I'm going to do is automotive, because automotive is actually something, and I didn't see automotive over here. Yeah. I didn't see automotive within the most popular legal form searches, but automotive is still something that comes up a lot. A lot of people try to, you know, salvage cars or get titles or things like that. And so they're looking for automotive information and things like that. So automobiles, this is a main category that I was also dealing with a lot. And so let's say that you are trying to sell a car, right? And you need bill of sale documents and that sort of thing. Well, you can go in and you can come in here, go to automobiles, you'll see agreement, bailment, driver complaints, all these sorts of things. And what I will do is I will go to bill of sale. Now, what I want you all to realize as you're going in here is that there are forms that are specific to a particular state, and then there are forms that are just pretty much going to be the same no matter what state that you are in. And so if we look here, here's what you'll see. Again, I'm in Missouri legal forms. So you'll see these Mo forms. The Mo forms are forms that are specific to the state of Missouri. And you can also find this for whatever state you're in. When I was in South Carolina and accessing this database, I would get SC forms and things like that. But then when you are actually, there are going to be some forms that are actually not legally state specific. They're just agreements where you just basically need the boilerplate and to fill in the blanks. And in those situations, you will see US because those forms don't change from state to state. All right, so let's say you wanted the bill of sale for automobile and odometer statements. What you could do is you could click this. And what you'll be brought to is kind of like a little description right here. And the description will tell you a little bit about the form so you can see if this is what you want. If it isn't what you want, let's say there's some information here that you're not seeing and you decide, oh, well, I need that as is sale, that as is form perhaps. You can go back here and see if this one is actually the one that you need, and there is language here that is a little different. So let's say you see this and you're like, yeah, the bill of sale also states that the automobile is sold as is without warranties, and you're thinking to yourself, oh yes, I'm not offering anybody warranty, I'm just trying to sell this car. And so this is the one that you want right here. So the first thing you can do is you can after you look at the description, if you decide that this is what you need, then what you can do is kind of look at a preview. And if the preview still looks like what you need, and by the way, one thing that you probably want to pay attention to as you're looking at the preview is you do want to look at the, you probably want to see if the agreement or the contract or whatever needs to be signed in front of a notary public. And in this case, you do have that going on. So that's something that you will want to be mindful of. Don't let, it's not your responsibility to give people legal advice. In fact, most libraries will forbid you from giving legal advice to patrons. And there is a reason for that because you can oftentimes be held liable. So it's not your place to give legal advice, but still, it's not necessarily legal advice to, you know, just remind the patron that, hey, this is something, this may or may not be something that needs to be signed in front of a notary public. And then if they have further questions beyond that, then they can reach out to a notary public or they can reach out to a lawyer or something like that. Okay. But yes, so then once you see this form, once you see the preview, if you decide, yes, this is something that we need right here, then the last thing that you may want to do is go ahead and look at related definitions. So and these are good, so you can get definitions of key terms that are relevant to the form that you're looking at. So in this case, bill of sale, you can get that definition of bill and sale, and even you got even some Q&A here, which you're not going to have for everything, but you got it for this particular one, and that's nice. And then you have bill of sale auto, and then bill of sale other. So if you decide this is the one you want, you can download into rich text format, or if you got Word, you can download into Word. And then also there are English and Spanish versions. And then even, and I think this is a recent addition. I believe that they used to only have these in like an English version or a Spanish version and not everything in a Spanish version. Now I'm seeing that they've got some things that are in English and Spanish. So let's pull that up. Okay. And I'm going to go ahead and download this file and see what happens because now I am super curious. So I am coming up in here and it is going to download here. And I think I downloaded the English and Spanish one, but I'm only seeing Spanish. Oh, okay. So it's just giving me two forms here. All right. And to be honest with you, legally, I don't know what to do with that because I don't know what to do as far as when you have two forms. I frankly only ever have signed one legal document and made that the contract that has been binding in any contract or lease or agreement that I've ever signed. Okay. So I have not done that before. But anyway, we're going to close on out of that and come back here. All right. And so this is, again, just the gist of how it works. And so another thing that I want you all to see is that, oh, well, actually, I should not have exited out of that because there is something to kind of show you all. All right. So once you're in there, once you are, sorry, this is one of the most important things to show you. Once you are in there, and then once you have enabled editing, then it's just a matter of filling the blanks. So like you could have, this is your starting point, but you can have like state of Missouri, county of Jackson. You can have a $2,500 bill of sale, make Nissan, blah, blah, blah. You can fill in all of that information. And once you fill out that information and then print it up, then you can sign it, and then it should be legally binding, especially in this case when you are signing something in front of a notary. So that is how this database works. You basically find the form that you need, you download it, you supply the information that is needed as far as filling in blanks and that sort of thing, and then you can do the necessary signatures, including signing in front of a notary if need be. All right, so another thing that I do want to show you all now is I am going to go back out here and go here. So, bill of sale of automobile or car with disclaimer or warranties. English here. And again, you download, you open, piece in. And so as you can see, and the reason why I wanted to download one of these US forms as opposed to a state of Missouri form is, as you can see, these forms are, they don't look as polished, and that's because these are not actual state-generated forms, and the federal government does not generate these forms. So these are forms that probably some lawyer somewhere drafted for this database to use as a blueprint and that sort of thing. So the form can still be legally binding, of course, because as you can see, when you scroll down here, this form still is requesting that you sign in front of a notary and that sort of a thing. So it is still a legally binding form, but as you can see, it did not have the, it looked more like, it didn't look as professional or as quote unquote legal, you know what I mean, as this state specific form does, okay? So that's something else that you want to keep in mind, all right? Now we'll go back out here. I'm actually going to pause this while I go back into the main menu. Okay, so I don't want to make the video too long. So from here, what I am going to say is if you want to, again, access this and explore some of these other categories so that you can see what else is offered in this database and that sort of thing, go ahead. Actually, let me get back out here to the true main menu here. So yeah, if you want to explore, if you want to see what's in some of these other categories, by all means do that. But I'm not going to do that right now because, again, I don't want to make the video too long. I do hope to make this a video that is 30 minutes or less unsped. All right, so you'll need to do some exploration to kind of actually learn a little bit more. But another thing that I do want you all to kind of be aware of, first of all, is that you do have this legal terms dictionary. And so this can be very helpful. So, for instance, if you're looking for a legal definition of a, okay. Yeah, so if you're looking for a legal definition, for instance, of landlord, you can have, and this is giving a South Carolina definition. So, or yeah, a South Carolina example. So be kind of careful on that. But you can get the gist of legal definitions here. Also, there is an attorney directory that you can kind of link to. Now, I haven't been into this tax forms thing too much, so I don't know how good or not good it is, but I'm actually, oh, it just links you out to the state. All right, so that's good enough. All right. And the last thing that I want to do really quickly is to show that you can also search freeform here. So search for like keywords and that sort of thing. So let's say that you wanted a sample. Let's say a patron came to you and they were like, hey, I'm looking for a sample contract for wedding photography. Okay. No problemo, to be honest with you. So what you can do if you are hit with that request is, let's say you don't know exactly what main category to go in. Doesn't matter. What you can do here is do the freeform search, and I'll put in wedding photography and see what comes up. Okay. And this used to work, and now it's not. Let me see what's going on. All right, hold on. Okay, so one thing I'm going to do here is add this disclaimer as well that this is why I make new check-in videos every semester. It is in part to kind of personalize the experience to each semester, so I'm not recycling the videos every single semester. I'm actually doing this. This is a specifically spring 2025 check-in video. But yes, another reason for me doing these every semester is, quite frankly, some databases just gain stuff and lose stuff. There used to be a wedding photography contract in here, and I cannot find that now. Um, let me try this. Yeah, it is not there. But anyway, if you're not able to find what used to be in there, then what you can do, so what I'm going to do instead is just do photography. And that wedding photography thing used to actually be a really good example too. So I'm kind of bummed that I'm not actually finding that sample contract in here now. But this is probably something that could also be used to make a wedding photography agreement sort of thing, this freelance photographer agreement. So this is an agreement between an employer and a freelance photographer to do various photographic services for the employer as an independent contractor. And so you'll get your preview there. And again, if you like what you see in the preview, then you can download. I'm going to download the English version in this case. Come here and open this file. And once I open this file, again, I can start editing. So between John Doe and James Smith, an independent wedding photographer, and so then herein referred to as photographers. So you've got all of that legalese and language in there. And then as you scroll down, what you will see is services provided. So I think what you'd be able to do, and this is my first time looking at this form, because again, I used to always just pull up the wedding photography form. So this is my first time looking at this particular form. But I think what you can do is add the wedding information that you're doing this for, that it's wedding photography. I think that can be added here. Photographer's duties shall include the following. I think this is where you can, but again, I'm not a lawyer, so you can check with a lawyer for sure, or recommend somebody check with a lawyer. But I think here where it says photographer's duties shall include the following, I think this is where you can add take wedding photos. take photos of this wedding. I think you can put that here. And then add the other things. You work with the photographer to do blah, blah, blah. Figure out anything else that needs to be figured out there. And then, yeah, most of this language here will not be replaced. You just kind of leave that in, but anything that you see a blank for, that's stuff that you actually do need to supply the information in. And then again, once you supply the information, this one does not need a notary, witness our signatures, employer, photographer. Both of you sign it, and then you just have a copy of it and you make it do what it do. Okay, so that's pretty much how that works. But again, now if you want to, and again, this is a very good database for public librarians specifically to know, because a lot of people who come to public libraries are people who are going to have limited resources, and so they don't know exactly what they need to do as far as, you know, filing for divorce or selling an automobile or something like that, but they may not have the money or the resources to actually hire a lawyer to do that, so they come to the library for that guidance. And so this is a very popular one to know if you are a public librarian, because you as a public librarian, yes, you're not a lawyer and you can't do what a lawyer would do for these people, but these are people with limited resources, and giving them something is going to be better than nothing. Okay, so that is the heart of the matter. And again, this is also something that can be very popular for recommending these services, recommending things to your friends. If your friends are on social media or calling you or something saying, hey, do you know anything about this? Or if you see somebody on social media talking about where can I find sample contracts or something like that, where can I find landlord-tenant forms and things like that, that's when you can say, hey, I know of something, and you can direct them to this resource. Okay, so with that said, I am going to leave it there. We are just barely under 30 minutes, and I want to keep it that way. I am Dr. Jace, and this legal forms database can get people through some of the hardest situations they will ever face. Jace Space, I rhymed, and now I can have a good night. Take care, you all. See you next week.